The title of your fourth album was Traveling Salesman. And I remember at the time it came out and listening to the song, the title song, thinking, I've never actually thought of music in those terms. But clearly you had been thinking of it, just listening to you talking about traveling up and down the highway. It seems to still fit that theme. But I'm wondering if actually you still do feel that you're a traveling salesman, or if it has shifted again with the changes in your life.
I mean, there's still plenty of similarities, but I'm the worst salesman on the planet, so, so I probably shouldn't have called it that. Um, but yeah, I think when if look, to be in this industry, you've got to be willing to get down, get down the road, and we are selling ourselves because that's what people attach themselves to. Do they like you? Do they think you're a decent human? Do they like your music? No, it's all one package. So
Mhm.
instead of selling Bibles and sewing machines, we are selling ourselves. And if you're not being honest with the music you're writing and singing to an audience, then what are you doing? If you're not letting them in on who you really are, and that's where I think I see a lot of artists miss the boat, is they're trying to make music that radio wants to play.
Mhm.
So in detriment to me as well, as I'm saying this, I'm realizing it because I don't aim at what radio wants to play. So often radio doesn't play it.
Right.
So I understand why people do it, why they go for that. But I also think that's a downfall in many ways because when the audience is there listening to it and absorbing it, there's like a wall up. You're not really getting the full person. It's like we're not connecting here.
Mhm.
That's just the way I see it.
Well, and I think it's also why I have been a fan from the start, through five albums. I've never encountered an album of yours where I thought, he's lost it, or he's not being authentic. It's always an album to look forward to for me. And it's always, even though, as I said at the top, you are consistently you and have been throughout, there's always something different on there because you're telling different stories. So at least from my perspective, as a fan of your music, I like that strategy, Brad.
Well, thank you. That's a compliment and a half. So I appreciate that. But all I've ever set out to do is write decent songs, and it's become a little more. It's become harder now, really, to write. Having things that I've lived through now, musically as well, getting to understand the industry and understanding a little more of how things actually work and connect. It's easy to get jaded, very easy to get jaded with everything, but um, that's why I've delved into this other side of things because it's like, well, I want to have more control. I want to understand every inch of how I'm putting this together, and I feel like there's a network that I now have for this sort of things where I can reach out to people and bring it together, globally almost. Um, so I feel like the old model's changed completely for me, and that my approach to it is still the same, but I think I can now, with every inch of every song, I can really piece it together exactly how I want it. And I think it's also simplifying things too, You get caught in these traps of making albums and adding another instrument and adding another thing, and now it needs to be remixed and now it needs to do that. And it's just like, man, play the acoustic guitar and sing it and put that out. Enough with the bullshit.
That's a very good quote, Brad. I may attempt to pull it out, but write it down somewhere.